Hey, this is Mrs. Chen. In this video, we are going to talk about how to round numbers to the nearest 10 and to the nearest 100. We will also look at estimation. Let's get started. That indicates rounding. So when your students are doing their work, if they see these words, estimate. Oh, I am sorry. And here you go. Estimate, about, close to, or approximately. Those words tells your students that they need to round the number first before they add or subtract. What are some ways to round numbers? Let's round to the nearest 10 first. The first one is number chart. This is the number charts that we use. As you can see, each one has two tens numbers in the beginning and at the end. When you round to the nearest 10, your answer choices are 0, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80, 90, and 100. So those are your only answer choices. So let's try a number using a number chart. Let's say we're rounding to 72. So let me mark 72 right here. As you can see, you have 70 and 80 in the beginning and at the end. But if you look at the distance from 72, the distance from 72 to 70 is closer to the distance from 72 to 80. So we will round the answer to 72. And to write it down, this is how you do it. We will put a line here and put 72 and then put another line. And students need to think about what are the two numbers that 72 is in between. Because 72 starts with 7 tenths. So your first 10 should be the same number, 7. That would be 70. And the last one will be 80. And because 72 is closer to 70, so we will circle this answer. That's how you use the number chart. We can also represent the same concept using a number line. Your beginning number is 70. Your ending number is 80, just like what we did on top. This time we need to find a midpoint because that is a reference for us to see if the number is closer to 70 or closer to 80. So 72 is right. 75 is our midpoint. 72 is before 75. So it should be somewhere here. And because it is before 75, you can see that the distance from 72 is closer to 70 than it is to 80. So if you round it to the nearest 10, the answer is 70. Another one is using a little story about place value. Okay, because we're rounding to the nearest 10, we're going to underline the tens place and circle the number next to it, that is the boss. If the boss is a small number like 72, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. All these numbers are considered the small bosses. And because they're small, they're not very powerful, the worker, which is the underlined number, said, hey, my boss is not powerful. I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to stay right here. So the 7 will stay. The number will stay. Everything else will be 0. Let's say I have 78. Underline the worker, circle the boss. If the boss is a big number, like 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9, the worker would say, oh no, my boss is a big, powerful number. I better do something. I want to get promoted. I want to move up. So the 7 will move up a number, and that will become an 8. And at the 0 at the end, and that the answer will be 80. Now, sometimes they will give you numbers that are more than just 2 digits. For example, if you have a number 365, you can use the same method to do it because your focus should be on 65 when you round to the nearest 10. So underline the worker, circle the boss. Boss is a big number, 5. So worker will go up and everything else is 0. But don't forget, because we start with 300, we're going to copy the number 300 here. You can also use number line or number charts to do that. Because this is 365, again, our focus is on 65. It's on the ones and tens. So 65, the 2 tens in between is 60 and 70. And then we're going to put a 3 back in front of it. And midpoint is 350. And that will also help you find out if 365 is closer to 360 or closer to 370. You just need to copy the whatever number comes before them back to the number. Now let's take a look at rounding to the nearest 100. Same thing here. Estimates about close to approximately, those will help you find out that you're rounding the numbers. Number chart. If you use a number chart, it's right here. Let's say the number is 574. Okay, 574. So I look down on the left side, 500. I found 500. Let me find 570. 70 is right here. So 574 should be somewhere right here. Now, because 574 is somewhere right here, as you can see, the 200 around it is 500 and 600. When you round to the nearest 100, your answer choices are 0, 100, 200, 300, 400, and so forth, all the way to 1,000. So this number, 574, is closer to 600 than it is to 500. So we say we will round that number to 500. So let's record it. 574. We put one line in front, one line at the end. And because we start with the 5 in the hundreds place, so your first number is 500 and the last number is 600. And this is a 7, which is closer to 600. So your answer is 600. We can also do number line. 500, 600. This time the midpoint will be 50. So 550. And 574 comes after 550. 574. So we can see the distance from 574 to 600 is closer, and that is the answer. Same thing with the silly story about place value. Underline the place and circle the boss. The ones place doesn't matter here. It can be 4, it can be 0, it can be 1. The tens place is the boss. The boss is a big number, it's a 7. So the worker, 5, would do something, would want to go up. So go up to 600, and everything else will be 0. Again, sometimes they will give you, let's say, a 4 digits number. Let's say the number is 6,732. Then how do you round it to the nearest 100? Yes, you can. Again, focus on just ones, tens, and 100. 732. Underline the place, circle the boss. The boss is a small number, so the worker is going to stay, not moving. Everything else is 0, and you just need to copy the number back in the front. So that's rounding to the nearest 100. The next one is estimation. Estimation means you round the numbers first before you add or subtract. Here's an example. Gina collected 45 seashells. Chris collected 55 seashells. About how many seashells did they collect together? So in this story, let's analyze it. A for analyze. Gina collected 45 seashells. Chris collected 55 seashells. However, this word about tells us a lot. That means we need to round first. So let me round these two numbers. 45 would become 50, and 55 would become 60. And the question says, how many seashells did they collect together? So we need to find out the total. We don't have one. We need a total. That tells us we're going to add. Our plan, which is our strip diagram, would look like this. We need a total. We don't have one. That tells you you're adding. And we're adding 50 and 60 because it's at about. So to solve the problem, you can use HTO chart, you can use break apart, you can use number line. I'm going to break it apart a little bit. 50 plus 60. I know 50 plus 50 equals 100. And I know 100 plus another 10 equals 110. So my answer would be 110. But what if some students find the answer first, the actual answer first before they add or subtract? So let's see what happened. Let me erase that. So you go through the same process, analyze, make a plan, and solve. Let's say here's the solve part. And 45, some students would say, oh, I'm not going to round. I'm just going to add first and use that answer, use the sum to round. Let's see what happened. So 5 plus 5 equals 10. 40 plus 50 equals 90. And if you add together, the answer is 100. But then if you look at the number is 100, you would say, oh, I don't need to round that. That's a rounded number already. Well, then your answer would not be correct when in estimation. In estimation term, if you round first, that would become 50. And this one would be 60. And together is 110. That is the correct answer. So be very careful if you say about, estimate, close to, or approximately. Make sure round first before you add or subtract. Do not find the actual answer, then round. That you will get the wrong answer. I hope this video helped. Thank you very much. Have a nice day.